Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wraparound. My name is Toogie, and let me just say, it is so bittersweet, this introduction. It is our final show, the final edition of the Wraparound for ECL 23. And today, we are going to take a look at the seasons that were the postseasons, that were the champions that were crowned before fully setting our sights on to ECL 24. Again, very bittersweet, but very excited to take a look back and see one more time how all the action played out. We're going to go division by division. We're even going to take a look at the 1v1 final as well. So buckle up. We got a long way to go and a lot of hockey to talk about. So let's talk about the ECL's Elite Division. And the bottom line is NHL 23 will forever be remembered as the year of tunnel vision, as they became just the second team to win back-to-back championships, claiming both crowns in ECL 23, both winter and spring. Of course, their captain Tombo leading the way as the face of the season, and what a run it was for them as the 2 seed, missing out on that number 1 seed. Frölunda able to grab that on the last day of the season, but ultimately it did not make a difference as Tunnel Vision survived a bit of a scare against Jyväskylä in round number 1, a bit of a scare from H-Reds in round number 2. Both of those series going 7. Meanwhile, Frölunda able to get ahead of Red Hawks Esports and Färjestad. It came down to the final in 5 games. Tunnel Vision able to get it done. It was a very interesting series, of course. You know, we always talk about the award winners, and, well, for Frölunda, forward of the season, Potzloff, not available for that series, and that made an immeasurable difference in how that series could have played out. Of course, plenty of hardware on the other side for Tunnel Vision. Wenger, Nike, defender and goaltender of the season, respectively, and indeed, it was just Tunnel Vision's year. It's the only way to put it. We'll see what the future brings, though. Just mentioned goaltender of the season, Nike. He has departed the club. There have been a lot of moves already. The hype level for 24 is nearly at a peak for me, and we're still months away from it. And it's so interesting to me because not only, of course, do you have all the transfers, but look at that as well. The relegation battle, all 3 teams that were in the Elite Division this past season are going to be back. They all staved off elimination, and there are some very talented clubs there. ZSC Esports have done so well to survive in the Elite Division for so long. Reality check, it was a bit of a down year for them compared to what people thought. And Totarit, last season's pro champions, stick around in Elite. They're not automatically relegated back down. A phenomenal season, to say the least. And with that, let's take a closer look at the finals. Again, Tunnel Vision, your champions. Welcome, everybody, to the ECL Elite Division 6v6 finals. And it has come down to this, our final 2 teams in a rematch of last season's final as our champions, Tunnel Vision, take on Frölunda.
Absolutely. I mean, and just like last season, all 7 games can be played here tonight. It is a sprint to the finish. Only 1 team will be left standing.
Will it be a repeat for Tunnel Vision, or will we have new champions crowned? Let's get to the action. Lite does find that bit of space. Wenger back to him. Great movement. They score. Heinecke trying to weave his way through. Still has it. That one's in. Right place, right time. Cross. Tombo played it well. Loose puck still there. They score. Again, it wasn't pretty, but it counts nonetheless. That puts this game back even. Alonso couldn't get a hold of it. Has it now. Loim. Ooh, deflection. Scores.
What a way to end it for Frölunda there in triple overtime.
Pumped at the combo. Eki was on him. Centering feed for Batu. He scores. Tunnel Vision strike first again. Been more of a setup man for this team. Bouncing puck. It's in. Oja in front. They score. Tunnel Vision take game number 2 and tie this series up.
Obviously, next game is huge. I think it was a positive game for us, even though we lost.
Game number 3. Huge moment in this series. Oja. Batu, he scores. And on the short side, they score.
Lite, empty net, foot race, he scores! The shutout stays intact for Nikkei, and a victory in Game 3 for Tunnel Vision, now just 2 wins away. Teams are ready to go. It is game number 4. As a shot, they score! Tunnel Vision are going to do it. Back-to-back shutouts for Nikkei and a goal at the end!
They are 1 win away from being back-to-back ECL Elite champions.
It is game number 5. Banger weaving his way through in front, they score!
And Tunnel Vision has the first of the game.
That inside move, it's Batu, he's free, poked away. Great job by Hostelino there on the flying poke check. And it scores! Here across scores! NHL 23 belongs to them. Back-to-back European champions at Tunnel Vision.
Let's talk about the Pro Division, and of course we have a new champion that happens to be on their way up to the top league, to the pinnacle. Looking at the postseason here, though, it was a very interesting opening round as one of our co-number 1 seeds in Sika fell in the first round, but not only that, they were swept by Arctic, a club that have been so close to making it to the Elite Division for the last couple of seasons. That was the only upset in round number 1. So you knew it was likely to get a little bit crazy in the quarterfinals, but not so much. Again, the higher seed winning every matchup. Of course, you could say all but one in round 1, but that was not the case in the quarterfinals. The favorites doing what you would expect them to do. Look at Polski boys as well, a sweep there. It was almost a sign of things to come, because as we move to the semifinals, they had that momentum. It went 7, but they knocked out the other number 1 seed in Luleå Hockey to set the stage for their finals matchup against Golden Knights, who knocked out Deadly Phantoms, which a huge win for them with all the previous elite experience that Deadly Phantoms have. But at the end of the day, it was Polski boys. 5 games for the 5th seed, and they make their way to the Elite Division for ECL 24 winter. And it's funny because you can take a look here, and on paper you could see what a strong club this was. The fact that they were only a 5th seed shows the competition level in the Pro Division, but they were so well-rounded, scoring across the board, phenomenal goaltending from Winchester especially. And as you moved into the playoffs, Winchester again getting the majority of the games, but look at that, it kind of flipped there. And ultimately, you think, okay, our goaltending fell apart. Maybe it won't go our way. The scoring never died down. This was such a well-rounded club, such a well-rounded team, and to me, no surprise whatsoever to see them move up to the Elite Division, your ECL Spring Pro champions, Polski boys.
SportsGamer introduces casual skill-capped NHL 23 and FIFA 23 leagues to run throughout the summer at an easy pace. Join the fun and get a taste of competitive gaming in a supportive environment. Go to sportsgamer.gg/CEHL for more information.
Let's talk about the ECL's Lite Division, another very interesting postseason to look back at. Again, a lot more matchups in that opening round, plenty of room for upsets, and there were as you kind of look towards that middle of the pack. But outside of Dark Wild, the top 3 seeds, you almost had the top 4 all advancing. It wasn't until the battle of 8v25, technical disaster falling to Golden Sticks, that you had another upset. Top seeds were looking very, very strong at this stage of this postseason. But as you can see, round number 2, it flipped, and it flipped quickly. Skellefteå falling. You had Napula falling as well, really opening the door and the window of opportunity for Mustakolta and Supernatural for one of those 2 higher seeds to step up. And of course, you see that bottom half of round number 2, the higher seed advanced in all of those matchups as well. So you start to think, okay, that window's open, but who's going to be able to make the most of it? And through the quarterfinals, again, 3 out of 4 of the top seeds advance. Not too much of a difference in those secondary matchups as well. You see there just how close the seeding happened to be. But at the end of the day, semifinals, we get down to the Final Four. And again, the highest seeds get it done. Musta Kalta and Supernatural go to the final. It was Boost HC who picked up the bronze win there in 7 games, but ultimately, speaking of 7 games, Musta Kalta getting it done, winning in 7 over Supernatural. And it was a great season for them. Of course, we made note of kind of the momentum that they had in the regular season in previous editions of the recap. And as you look here, of course, at the regular season numbers, I mean, first and foremost, you have a 45 goal scorer with 96 points. You'd like to say, hey, there's no way the goal scoring is going to fall off. And yeah, it really didn't. But look at that as well. All 3 forwards with at least 53 points. That is just tremendous goal scoring across the board. The defense chipping in on plenty of occasions as well. And of course, the goaltending didn't matter who was in, but they got it done. And of course, thankfully, I'm glad for a moment like this, we have an opportunity to throw it over to a member of this championship winning club. And of course, some phenomenal goaltending in the process. Let's throw it over to that interview now.
Simbanho, man, what a series. You must be feeling good after that one, finishing it out with a shutout nonetheless. Some of the biggest saves we've seen in esports produced by you and Yugi in that series. Why don't you talk a little bit about how you're feeling right now and how the team's feeling?
Well, it was actually my first shot out of the playoffs, if I'm right, because
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm kind of shaking at the moment. Don't know what to say.
No worries, man. Brandon, I know you've got some questions for Simbanho and how great he was here in this series.
Yeah, and by the way, my friend, I just wanted to check the stats. That was your first shutout of the playoffs. And I mean, no bigger time than in the game 7. I mean, just kind of tell me, how was it being in this situation? You played 4 games in the regular season, your name gets called for this playoff run, and you were nothing short of stellar from start to finish. I mean, what was it like just being in this moment, game 7, brightest lights, and stepping up and winning a championship for your team?
Yeah, I was actually in a training camp for 3 weeks in Portugal, and it was just a few days before the transfer deadline when Alupeka called me and asked me if I wanted to play here, and I'm happy that I said yes. It was what a roller coaster.
There's nothing better than seeing the emotion and the realness of this from you. It's just, it's great. The defense on the backside, Veltol and Ray, they were phenomenal in the latter part of this series, probably making your job, I wouldn't call it easy because you were amazing in there, but easier. Talk a little bit about Veltol and Ray and how great they were in the series.
I mean, when the defenders have the puck, I don't I don't shake. I feel like they can produce the game so good, and our forwards are amazing with the puck. So anytime we have the puck, I'm calm, and yeah, the last game was so good from us. It was maybe the best game for us, at least defense wise. And yeah, I really don't know what to say.
Yeah, and something that I feel like had been so common for you guys, I felt like all series long, was just your ability to respond. Whenever Supernatural did get up early or found that momentum, you guys just always found a way to fight back. And I mean, no better example than in that game 7. I mean, how do you guys just seem to always have that ability that no matter what the situation is in front of you, you always find a way to get back in it and have that succeeding moment that you've had here tonight?
I really don't know. I think we played yesterday quite good, and it was the game 4. It was pretty bad from us, and it was really important to win the game 5 on OT, and I was pretty devastated when we lost the game 6, and the game 7 was I don't know. I can't describe it.
I can't describe it watching it, Simbanho. The fact that we were able to see, every game but one be a 1-goal game was very, very exciting. You're an amazing goaltender. You guys definitely deserve the championship at hand. Anything you would like to say to Supernatural or SportsGamer or anybody before we let you go, or anybody on your own team, either congratulating them?
I mean, I have to go celebrate with the boys, but uh, first season for us, first season for half of our team. I don't know. This might be a potential lineup for the pro division.
I like it. Well, we look forward to seeing you guys. You were a lot of fun to watch. It was a blast to call. Game 7, very exciting. We look forward to seeing more great numbers from you down the road. Go celebrate with the boys. We won't keep you any longer. Moose to Calta, congratulations. You guys are number 1.
Thanks.
Let's talk about the ECL's core division. Again, another division where very interesting heading into the playoffs. If you followed along through the regular season, there were a lot of clubs that were making really strong pushes at the end of the regular season. And in the playoffs, that kind of continued. Just 2 upsets in that opening round, both of which were the 2 closest battles in terms of seeding. You see there, right at the tail end of those particular matchups. But in the quarterfinals, we saw a lot more upsets. It was just the lone top seed, and it was the number 1 seed in French Eagles that survived, as the others 2 through 4 all fell in the second round. And you would think, well, that opens that opportunity up for French Eagles to just storm their way to the final. They did get a bit of a scare from the North Sao Lions in the semis, but advanced in 6, and they took on Isman Valinta, who put up such a good fight. That series 1-7 was a really, really tight series, obviously, as any 7-game series is going to be, but you know, in some ways, of course, you could look back and say, oh, hey, you know, a matchup like this, maybe not. I mean, again, a number 1 seed that has been so dominant. But we look back here at this finals matchup, 1-goal game, 1-goal game. Bit of a difference there in game number 3. 1-goal game, 1-goal game. And then towards the end, you start to get a bit of separation. And it took until overtime in game number 7. Again, there were some games that were a little bit close, but again, one of those series that really could have gone either way. And at the end of the day, it is French Eagles getting the win and crowning themselves champions after a phenomenal season. And of course, you look at Coco, there's 73 points, 28 games, 43 goals, spectacular stuff. Absolutely immense goaltending as well. That was the key, both in the regular season and in the playoffs. I'm very intrigued to see what this team does moving forward, if they stick together. Although, hey, with the transfer series, who knows? Maybe I missed the news that they've already broken apart. You never quite know. But that is a season to remember and a championship to cherish. French Eagles, your core division champions.
SportsGamer introduces casual skill capped NHL 23 and FIFA 23 leagues to run throughout the summer at an easy pace. Join the fun and get a taste of competitive gaming in a supportive environment. Go to sportsgamer.gg/CESL for more information.
Let's talk about the ECL's Neo Division, our, of course, lowest tier on the totem pole, but that does not mean that the action wasn't interesting as the playoffs happened to play out. And we get a look here, round number 1, of course, a lot of teams qualifying for the postseason in this format. And of course, the top 4 seeds advancing through the opening round. You did have some upsets as it continued on. It was actually pretty mixed and really kind of led to that feeling of anything can happen heading into round number 2. For the most part, I mean, again, it was a bit mixed, though. You had the top 3 seeds all moving on. Red Goblins did fall, the 4th seed out. And again, you think, okay, when's it going to happen? And then the quarterfinals is when we finally saw those moves. HBG falling. Love that name, by the way. In 3 games, of course, 3 game sets, the Dara Stars getting it done. Tremendous upset for them. And of course, Glasbanken also falling this time out in 4 games. They were 2 teams that we looked at to say, okay, maybe they can make something happen. Rusty Bulls and Flashback Squad as well. Maybe they were destined for a matchup in the finals. No. The Dara Stars proving that it was not a fluke. They knocked out Rusty Bulls as well, setting up a finals matchup against Flashback Squad where their luck finally ran out. But what a tremendous run, knocking out some of the better teams of this particular division. And for Flashback Squad, one of the better logos in all of the ECL. I'll throw that out there right now. And of course, very, very proud champions, as they should be. This was a great season for them. Barrios Lucas as well. Look at that, 74 points in just 18 games. An 18-game regular season. That is outstanding, and I'm very intrigued. You know, you can go back in the history of the ECL, look at these lower tiers, and identify players where it's like, yep, who was the top team to identify that was someone to watch and was smart enough to pick them up at the time? That might be one of those players right there. And again, this team was just outstanding. Again, tremendous goaltending, 15-1-0 record for your starter in the regular season. The goaltending did dip a little bit in the playoffs. The scoring did not. I mean, again, 50 points in 16 games and a championship in our Neo division for Flashback Squad. Let's talk about the 1v1 championship here. The ECL 23 spring season, of course, doesn't just include the 6v6 final. It includes, of course, the best 1v1 players in the European scene as well, going head-to-head for the crown. And indeed, as we got down to these 16, tremendous talent across the board. You start off with Tempinen, who not only had a great 1v1 season, of course, had a great 6v6 season as well. Was named ECL Elite Division Rookie of the Season, knocking out Ekin. Zovi, strong upset. Won't be the last time, of course, we mention him. Artuzio with an upset as well. And Pikari knocking off the winter champion in Sisu. That led to the finals. Live in person for the Final Four. Zovi able to outlast Tempinen in 5. But then the destruction began. Pikari, I was live in person for this alongside Sin. I still cannot believe this performance. It had to have been the most dominant performance I've ever seen. And a 1v1, a 6th stage, does not matter. Absolutely ripping Artusio and Zovi to shreds. And those are two absolutely unbelievable players that you would back to be able to do what they did and make it to the semifinals. And in Zovi's case, a final in a 1v1 tournament. Pikari mastery is the only way to describe it. I have never seen someone have so much control over NHL, any NHL, like we saw from him in this final. Again, 8-2 and 9-2 over Artuzio, and then 6-3 and 9-4 over Zovi. Just pure destruction. Let's take a closer look at it again as Pikari was crowned 1v1 champion in ECL 23 spring. Welcome everybody to the ECL 1v1 championship round.
All best of 3 series, fast and furious pace, and as you said, there's going to be a trophy being handed out here at the end of all things.
It's time to find out just who is number 1. It's time to crown a champion.
To open up around the slot area. And there it is! What a pass to Marchand! That will do it for game 1. Tempinen takes the win.
Draw, he has it.
And a shot, they score! All tied up within the last few seconds. Get that one down low, cuts across, he scores! Game 3 is on the docket. Zovi wins it 5-4 in overtime. Eller from behind, trying to peel out front, and shot score! He's the first one to punch his ticket all the way. What a series right there. What a performance. What a bounce back from that man right there, Zovi.
We get ready for our second semi-final here in the ECL 1v1 tournament.
Pass up here, Pikari with some space. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful pass right there.
Pure and utter domination.
I mean, we said in the last one, maybe if you're Artuzio, you're hoping, hey, he's scoring so much in this one.
Oh my God.
Oh, 9-2.
He has figured out how to play against me, and he did it pretty well, so well done.
Our final best of 3 of the night to crown a champion. Zobi taking on Peakery.
And in front he scores! An early start for Zolvi there. Now all the way across, Manson activates, pass across, he shoots, he scores! Peakity strikes back. This game all tied up. Backhand scores! Peakity takes the first game of this best of 3. What a play, he scores! A Finn like no other tonight.
Unbelievable, just pure dominant.
He is your ECL 1v1 champion!
So with that, everybody, we are done here for this episode and again for this season. Not to say that the action stops, though, here at SportsGamer. Of course, the casual eSoccer league, as you see there, very much up and running, and of course so much more. The German Championship, the casual eHockey league as well. Make sure to follow along with everything going on here at SportsGamer. Just because we're on the summer break for the ECL does not mean that there's not plenty to follow. But hey, before you know it, ECL 24 will be here, bigger, better than ever. We thank you, of course, for following with us here at the Wraparound, and we'll see how this show continues to evolve as things play out over the next little bit. But for now, we will bid you adieu. Thank you very much for watching and supporting us here at SportsGamer, and we'll see you very soon.